Hi, welcome to Code and Play. My name is Suman. So, it has been some time since I recorded any videos. I was actually um, busy with some works, some projects, and last time I also showed you my game that I was making called Mob Wars. So, I was busy with that. Um, okay, we'll talk about that some other time. Today, the video is very interesting. So, what I want to do is I want to show you how we can like um, make a dialogue system, not dialogue system, but actually a story progression. What I want to say is, for example, is it recording? Yeah, it's recording. Okay, so what I want to say here is, for example, let's say you have a story, um, like a generic RPG story or any other adventure story, or a quest. Okay, anything. You can just have a simple dialogue system as well. So what my concept here is, let's say we have a story, right? So we have scenes, right? Every story, every plot has scenes. So this is scene 1, this is scene 2, and this is scene 3. So every plot will have scenes, and every scene will have some interactions like narrations. There will be a narration of the story, and there will be some interactions with NPCs, right? So there will be choices as well in this context. So there will be choices for the player to choose. For example, the story goes like this: the player enters a tavern. The tavern has many NPCs. One of the NPC is a old man who is sitting there, uh, looking for someone to accept a quest. So the player goes to the old man and talks about the quest. And at the end of the quest, and at the end of the chat, you have two options: either you accept the quest or you reject the quest. So if you accept it, the quest will start. If you reject it, nothing happens. You just move on to the next scene or next NPC, right? That, so like that, there will be narrations, there will be interactions, there will be choices. All of this will be in that one scene, right? Now in the second scene, maybe you continue with the quest. Let's say the quest asks you to go into the forest, or search for a wild animal, or maybe a demon, or maybe some mysterious item that you have to retrieve, something like that, right? So every scene will have these points: narration, interaction, and choices. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a system in Java that will load these things automatically. So what I should do, or what I am going to do is, I'm going to ask a writer, a story writer, to write these things. Okay, I will explain them a scenario about, let's say, a player or a party of players, let's say 4 players or 5 players combinedly entering a town. Okay, I will ask them to narrate all the environmental details, all the like rumors and everything that they want to add into the story. I will ask the writers to add all of the narrations and the entrance, what the players see, like a like if you have played D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, you will understand what I'm talking about. So you will understand. I mean, I'm going to give a brief to the writers to write this narration, and then they will write some interactions with the NPCs, some interactions with some random NPCs, some villagers, some like mayor of the village or town, something like that, and then some choices, right? So all of this will be written by the writer in a separate file. Let's say the writers are writing the story in a text file. Let's assume, okay? the text file will have a format, of course. There will be a scene ID, there will be narration format, there will be tags for each and every interaction and everything. There is a specific way for the text file to write, but I'll give the instruction to the writers to do that. And once the writers do that, now I just play the game, and this system that I'm developing will read this text file in scenes, and it will automatically load these things. Okay, so let me show you a design that I tried. I think I tried here. Let's see this SRC. I tried one in this. This is a very huge concept that I tried. I'll show you how it works. Okay. Yeah. Enter your name. This is the player name. So let's scene 2. Why scene 2? Let's load from scene 1. Where is it? Wait. Player current scene 1. I'll explain all of this. Don't worry. I will create something similar to it, and I'll show you how I did it. Okay, this is scene 1. So in the scene 1, the sun is rising in the valley. This is the narration part. The narration part is also written by the writer. Okay, or you can also use ChatGPT for it. It's up to you. So once this narration is done, then we have the interactions. So there is a guard here in town. So there is a guard who is interacting with the player, and the guard will have some like asking questions. They ask questions. The guards will try to like interact with each other like this, looked at each other and nodded together, and then they ask 50 gold coins for the player to pass. And we just like, this is all the part of the file, the narration file that I wrote. Okay, all of this is loading as a console right now, as a text right now, but you can also make it as a GUI. You can also make it into a dialog box, load this text in a dialog box. Okay, so all of this is done. So once it's done, then you can go to scene 2. In the scene 2, you can also write something else. In the scene 3, you can also write something else like this. This is a straight up simple file. Okay, and these scene files are also not single file. These are multiple files. Let me show you that. These are multiple files here. This is scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3. So I made this completely in Java, but this is not a perfect way to make it. I just make it to see if it works in this way. Okay, so let me show you how I did it, and I'll also try to make it even simpler, just to explain to you like, if you are also like interested in making these kind of systems in your game, then what is the best way to implement this. And let me tell you, this is not the best way. I just made it to show you the evolution of the system. Okay, everything should start somewhere. So I just started with the simple scene file. Maybe later on we can also add JSON to it. We can also add choices. We can add more characters into this game. Okay, so the system is this: loading text, loading the plot scene by scene from text file. How do we do that? Let me show you that. So first of all, to do all this, first we need to make a plan. Okay, so again, I'm explaining the system to you. The system is simple. The story is in text files. Okay, the story is in text files. Load these files and segregate them automatically as narration points, and interactions. So what I'm trying to say here is the system will automatically define which part of the code is narration and which part of it is interaction, and it will show in that way. Narrations will have a different output, interactions will have a different output. Maybe in your UI you want to add player portrait or character portraits. So character portraits will show in the interactions, and nothing will show in the narration. Narration will be shown in a different way, maybe different color. Okay, so this is the different things. So you are writing a single file, or the writer of the story is writing in a single file, in a single format, in a special format. You should read those files and load the story according to that file, from that file. Okay, so this is a simple way of loading loading dialogue, plot, interactions, anything into your game. Instead of hard coding it directly into your game, you can load it like this. Okay, for example, there is a like point where you say, instead of writing system.out.printlns and saying like dialogues here like this, instead of doing this way, what I'm doing is I'm writing all of this dialogue in the text file and loading the text file directly. So instead of all this, I just say load scene. Okay, scene 1, that's it, and it will load the scene 1 automatically. It will load the dialogues, it will show the narrations, it will show the choices, everything automatically. This is what I'm talking about, and this is also what the program should do. Programming is not all about giving instructions, it is about doing or making the machine do the work efficiently, right? So this is why you are learning Java and C++ or whatever languages you are learning. It is not about giving instruction, it is about making the machine work efficiently and quickly. So if you cannot do it efficiently and quickly, then it is not worth it. That's what I feel. So let's do this. First of all, let me close all these things. Close unrelated projects. Okay. And close. Okay. So first of all, let's make a new project here. Okay, I'm making a new project. I'm not adding any JSON libraries or anything. It is completely file reading and nothing else. Okay. So let me show you that. Let's say I'm saying dialogue loader or scene loader, anything, you can write anything. Scene loader, this project. Okay, so in this project, where is this class com.simon.game and main class, right? So in this main class, first of all, we say main method, new main class, and load. That's it. It's loaded. Yeah, it's loaded. Okay. First, okay, it's loaded. So now it is running. Public main class constructor out. Hello. If you execute this, you see hello, right? So how do we achieve this thing? First, as I said, the story is in the text files. The writer gives you text files. The writer doesn't know programming. They don't know how to write Java or C++ or C language codes. All they do is write the story in a text file. Now you should use your programming knowledge and load these files and segregate them accordingly. That means divide them accordingly, which is narration, which is interaction, and all of that. Okay, so how do we do that? First we should do is we should read the text files. Is it possible to read text files in Java? Yes, it is. So let's do that. Let's load a string from a text file. a basic normal string from text file, and then we move on from there. Okay, so first I need text file. Let's make a text file here. Right click on the src, new, source folder, res. You can use any name. I'm just using res because it's a resource folder. You can use any other name, like you can use anything, because the name doesn't have any significance, because it's a resource folder. It's a source folder, so it doesn't have any significance on its own. You can use anything. Okay, next, new file. Okay, this is a plain text file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say file1.txt. txt. You should mention the ending. If you don't mention the ending, it won't be a text file. It will be a file. Let me show you that. Since this is the text file, if I go here and create a new file, okay, I don't say anything. I just said the demo1. That's it. Now this is a file. This is not a text file. This is a file. This can't be readed. You can see it is unavailable in the marketplace. You can't read this because it's a file. You can't read this. That's why. So don't do that. Always use extensions. .txt, .rtf for rich text format, textpad format. If you want to know what is textpad, you can type here textpad, or sorry, what is that? Notepad is there, and RTF, rich text format. Yeah, what is that? RTF, forgot that. It's called WordPad, I think. Yeah, WordPad. Okay, it's a system WordPad. If you don't have MS Office or any other tools, Office tools, you can use this WordPad. The format here is .rtf. If you see here, it is rich text format. Okay, default format is RTF. If you want to save this, the same thing. If you want to save it here, you will see the same thing. Rich text format, RTF. You can change it to other formats, but it is not useful. RTF is the most default format for WordPad. Okay, so if you like save the file with .txt, it is Notepad. It is readable everywhere, even in Android phones or iPhones as well. Whereas RTF is only working in Windows. If you don't have a Windows PC or Windows laptop, you can't use it. Okay, so use .txt, and now in this file we are going to write some text. Let's say this is a sentence. So also I'm writing some more sentences, because file reader basically reads one line. That means the first line. It should go multiple lines, because the story is not in one line, it is multiple lines. So I'm going in multiple lines. I'm saying this is another sentence. So if I should read the file, if I am reading the file, I should not read only this line. I should read both lines. That's my goal. Okay, so let's save this, go back here and load our file reader. So what is file reader? File reader is a class. It is a class in IO in Java that reads files. It is easy, but this file reader only reads single line. Let me show you. File reader. Okay, new file. New file. What file we have? We have res/file1.txt. There will be a try catch, obviously. Surround with try catch. Yeah. Now in this code, I'm saying system out string s equal to fr.read. Okay, what does it do? It gives characters, int characters, which means basically integers. Characters are given as ASCII codes, so it gives characters. So we have to convert these characters into strings. So how do we do that? We do that by using buffered reader. So instead of using this, we will use buffered reader br equal to new buffered reader. I said the file reader will read characters, so we must convert those characters to strings. And how do we do that? By using buffered reader. Buffered reader will convert the characters to string automatically. Control Shift O, and it is there. So now we'll say br dot read line. As you can see, read line. This will give us strings. So then there is a try catch, obviously. Add exist, yeah, this one, IO exception. And now I'll just print the S. Let's see what we get now. When I execute this, it should print this is a sentence. As I said, it reads line by line, one single line. But in our file, we have two lines. This is another sentence. The another sentence is not there. You can see only one sentence. So we need to make the buffer reader read multiple lines. To do that, we should do while, and we shouldn't use multiple, we shouldn't initialize multiple strings like this. We should initialize the strings in this way. String s equal to nothing, like this. S equal to buffered reader, br.read line. If it is not equal to null, until it reads null. Okay, until it reads null, keep reading. That's the code here. And I'll say keep playing as well. Keep displaying as well. At the end, I'll say br.close. That's it. So this is our buffer reader. So when I execute this, I should see both sentences. This is a sentence and this is another sentence. Both sentences are read. We got all this file read completely by using buffered reader. Buffered reader, new file reader, new file. We can also remove this part. We don't need the new file part because file reader by default has a string input, so we can directly use this. This is the line. So buffered reader br equal to new buffered reader, new file reader, that file. Okay. Now, why I did this? I did this to show you that we can read file in Java. Everybody knows that. But our concept is not to just read file. Our concept is to read the plot entirely. So I'm going to take the plot from this other file that I wrote here, scene1. Okay, you can see this entire plot is written in scene1. This is a huge file, so I'm going to take this file, Control A, or I can just copy this file, Control C, and paste it here, Control V. Done. So we have the file to read. Let's read this file now. We don't need this file anymore. Let's read this file. So file1, scene1, right? It's capital. Scene1. Let's see what we see here now. Yeah, you can see everything is out, right? But if you observe, there are some things here. What is this percentage RW guard1 percentage MC? What is these things? These are called tags. This is how I'm going to distinguish between a narration and interaction. And I'm also going to show which guard I'm talking to. For example, in this case, we are talking to guard 1, and in this case, we're talking to guard 2. You can also make healer 1, healer 2, mayor 1, mayor 2, NPC 1, NPC 2, or in this case, I'm using the town name and guard name. So town name is Rosewood. Somewhere I wrote it here somewhere. Town name is Rosewood. So I'm saying RW guard 2, RW guard 1, like this. Or in case if you have another town name, let's say SC guard 1, SC guard 2, or SC healer 1, SC healer 2. or SC Mayor1, SC Mayor2, like that. These are tags. Okay, so this is how the uh, writer, the script writer or the story writer writes the code. This is what they write. Okay, they write this as a file. Let me show the file. They write this as a scene. In the file they do this, they make this tags and everything. Now once you have the what do you call this, blueprint? No, it's called the raw script. Okay, once you have the raw script, the raw version, you're going to change these tags into actual NPC names. That is what I'm going to do now. Let me show that to you. But before that, we need to do one more thing. Well, we can't write everything in one class. We have to write multiple classes. So I'm going to segregate this in multiple classes. Class 1. This will be called as the file, or you can say, file loader class or scene loader class. Scene loader. Okay, in this class, I'm going to load the scenes. I will say public void load scene, and there is a path given to this. Okay, so in this case, this buffer reader entirely, we'll transfer this to our scene loader class here, and this string that I'm passing here will be passed here. Path. You can also further like diversify this by using plot folder like that. Okay, or you can also say scenes folder like this. You can also further diversify this, right? So we have res and we have path.txt, and then we have a string, output, right? But what I need from here is, I don't need this output. I want a you can say, yeah, I can print the load, I can print the scene from here by just directly saying load scene, scene1. Yeah, that would be awesome, but there is a problem. Let me show you that. Sc equal to new scene, scene loader, sc equal to new scene loader, sc dot load scene, scene1, right? So if I load this, you will still see the same things, but the problem here is I need to change these. I don't want to see these tags. I need to change these. So how do I change that? Well, that is where a class called scene comes in. Okay, I'm going to say scene. This class is going to have scenes. It's going to have a list of characters like this. Public map string comma string. It's capital, string comma string characters, or you can also write holders because they are placeholders. So I'm saying public scene, okay, holders equal to new hash map. So what is this hash map going to have? It is going to have like this, holders dot put. So first of all, I'm giving the tag like this. Wherever you see MC, main character, you should see the name. The name I can also enter separately, like a scanner class or a buffer reader class. I can use that, but I'm just giving a name like right now, Suman. Okay, wherever you see MC, you should see Suman. MC means main character. Then you can also have holders dot put. Wherever you see %RW guard1, you should have a character name like so guard 1 is actually a guy, I think. First guard looks at him, disappears attention, the left is on. I think it's a guy. I wrote him as a guy, I think. This traveler, both of you looked at each other and nodded each other. Yeah, I think you can mention whatever name you want. Let's write Ravi. Okay. Then holders dot put another name percentage RW guard 2. I'm just giving Sheila. You can also add more NPCs like this. Then I will say load scene. Right. So here I'm going to say scene loader. So scene loader sc equal to new scene loader, and I will say sc dot load scene 1. Okay, but there is a problem. When you say load scene, it just loads the scene entirely. That means it just reads the file entirely. But what I need is I need to read the file and also add these tags. Understood? I need to read the file and add these tags wherever needed. So what I should do? Let's see. We are reading like this. What if I read this and while reading it, I change the tags? To explain this properly, let me show you by using some tags here. Is this? Okay, let me show this from here so that you will understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's change these things and paste it here. Right. So now we have the holders, right? We have the map and we have the holders. So whenever I'm reading this, I should check if there is a tag in that line, and if there is a tag, then change that tag to the name. For example, in this scene, there is a tag called R1 RWG guard 1. So if there is a tag like that, so what it will do, it will automatically make it Ravi. Whenever there is a tag called RW guard 2, there is a name called Sheila. So it will change the name automatically. So to do that, I'm going to use a function or method function or method here. Let's say replace placeholders. The placeholders will be s string will take two parameters. The string that I'm reading here, check the line, and if there is any tag in that, then use the holders to replace it. Okay, and then pass the string here. So I'm saying system.out println replace placeholders. So just print the string, print the line. This is what I'm trying to say. Now let's write this function. So in here I'm saying public void, or sorry, string replace holders, placeholders. It will take two, string s and map string comma string map. Right, and it will also return a string. The string is here, string line, or we can also just return this string itself. Return this string itself. Okay, let's return this line. So now let me see if this works or not. Let's just see if it works. Let's remove this scene here. We don't need the scene. Go to the main class, scene loader, load scene, scene1. If I load it, it should load the entire file. Yeah. Okay, it is loading the entire file. The file is not loading from here. It is actually going to the function and then loading it directly. Right. Now, my point here is whenever you load the file, you should replace these tags. So how do I replace the tags? By going through the map. Whatever the map that I provided here, it will go through the map and it will replace the tags. So how do we go through the tag, or how do we go through the map? So let me show you this. In for each, we have to say like var x colon some list. This is how the for each looks like. But here the list is not just a simple list, it's a map, which is map. Okay, this is a hash map or a map. Map doesn't have indexes, it has key and values. Let me show you the concept. In for each, we must have a var here on the left side and list on the right side. But this is not a list, this is a map. Map doesn't have one single value, it has a combination of values. That means a key and a value. This part is the key, this part is the value of that key. Okay, let me show you that. So if I print map here, you will see what I'm talking about. You see, every time whenever the map loads, you will see the map loading. What it says, RW2 is Sheila, RW1 is Ravi, and MC is Suman. This is called map. Map doesn't have one single value, it has a group of values. There is no indexes in map, there is only key and value. So in this format, we can't use for each like this. Okay, we can't use for each like this. We must use a different way. So how do we use for each for maps? Well, in the list case, we'll say map dot entry set. This will go through each and every key and value of that map. On the variable side, we will write like this: map dot entry k comma v, or you can say string comma string, and you can just give a value called x. Now, what does this x have? X will have both key and value. Understood? So this is the format. For each format in Java is variable x colon list. But we are not talking about list here. We're talking about maps, hash maps. So maps will have entry sets. Entry set basically means it's a, you can see, returns a set view. Come on, returns a set view of the mappings contained in this map. The set is packed by the map. Can you see it? Where is it? So what is entry set? Returns a set view of the mappings contained in this map. The set is backed by the map, so changes to the map are reflected in the set and vice versa. If the map is modified while an iteration over the set is in progress, iteration over the set is in progress, except through the iterations over remove operation or through the set value operation, entry set operation on a map entry returned by the iterator, the results of the iteration are undefined. Basically, it is saying if you don't remove anything, everything is fine. But if you try to remove something, while reading, then there will be an undefined error. Okay, so what is trying to say is, for example, I want to go through this set and I want to remove this line, this key. There will be a problem. So that's what it's saying. It is saying don't do remove operations through entry set. Everything else is normal. Just reading and displaying is normal, but entering, adding new value or removing any value will have problems. That's what it's saying. Don't do those kind of operations through entry set function. Okay, you can learn more of this in any other tutorials. So let's move on. What I'm trying to say here is I have a map of multiple tags and I have all the string that I am reading from the file. I need to convert those strings and change the string wherever there is a tag into a name, character name. Okay, so what I'm doing for this, in the list part I'm saying entry set, in the variable part I'm giving a variable. Now I'll say, if I just want to say x dot key get key, it will show all the keys. Let me show you. It will be a big operation. You can see you can just read anything, rw guard2 guard1 mc. So every time you see this key, you will see all the keys, right? Whenever you say x dot get key, it will show the keys. If I say get value, it will show the value, like this, Sheila, Ravi, Suman. Understood? So what is this key? What is this value? Well, key is the first part and value is the second part. This is how hash map works. Now why I'm showing all this? Because I'm going to use this concept. Whenever there is a key, whenever there is a value, I can change it by using a function. In string functions, we have replace. This is a string function, not this. So let me show you. So if you take a string str equal to, let's say hello world. Okay, now in this string there is a function called replace. What does it do? It will replace any occurrence of any character or any string sequence, like this. Or you can also replace all strings, any regex console, and you can also change without doing any multiple operations. You don't have to go through each and every word, each and every character like that. Use replace and it will change that word or that character automatically. I'm going to use this. So how does it do? Let's say I want to change this world to people. So what do I say? I simply say replace world case sensitive. It is very case sensitive, so keep it case sensitive. To, what do I want to say? I want to say people. Okay, or YouTube. So now when I print this, it will say hello YouTube. Let me show you that. System out sysout str. So instead of printing hello world, it will print hello YouTube. Let me see. So hello world. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't replace it. Yeah, I just replaced it. I didn't copy it. So I copied this. Now it will go. Hello YouTube. See? Every time you say hello world, it will say hello YouTube, because I replaced the word world with some other word. This is what I'm going to do here inside this for loop. I'm going to say, take the line, replace any word, okay, any word that matches with x dot get key, get the key, with x dot get value. if there is a match, if there is a match of the tag in the key, I mean, let me remove this. Okay, you understand the replace part? Now let me show this. What I'm saying here is, if there is a match for the key, then change it with the value. Simple. Now let's see what we see here. Okay, it's done. See, Ravi, Suman, and Sheila. Here it is. Let me change this name. I'm saying Pradeep. Now instead of Suman, you will see Ravi, Pradeep, and Sheila. Done. Easy. That's it. So this is our scene loader. It loads the scenes automatically. So just say what scene to load, and it will replace those tags that you gave, and it will automatically load the scene for you. Now keep in mind, this is just a simple text loader. This is not something like choices or anything. This is just a simple text loader, text file loader. So if the writer just writes like this, okay, and they can load the file like this. Easy. You can write this code and load the file on your own. You don't have to ask the writer to write all the code for you. The writer will just write the code like this. This is what they will write. They will use these tags, these special tags. And why I'm using percentage? Because in my code, I want to use percentage as a tag, as a indicator, placeholder. In your code, maybe you don't want to use percentage. You want to use this. You can also use that. Doesn't matter. If you don't want to use percentages, maybe you want to use hashtags. Whatever you do, you always must use the same type of tag that you used here. For example, or here, for example, I said hashtag MC. Instead of using this, I'll say hashtag RW guard 1. Okay, and hashtag RW guard 2, hashtag MC, hashtag RW guard 1, and hashtag MC. So wherever there is a hashtag MC, let me just replace it other way. Find and replace. So in the find and replace section, I will say change percentage MC to hashtag MC. Okay, replace all. Done. Change percentage RW guard 1, GUARD 1, not there. Guard 2, not there. Okay, we don't have guard 1 and guard 2 anymore. That's it. Right. So now I change these tags to hashtag. Instead of percentages, I'm using hashtags. So in your this map as well, you should also change to hashtags. So whatever you are using there, you should use it here. Now if I load, you will see the same. Ravi, Pradeep, and Sheila. Done. So this is our plot loader, scene loader, scene loader. So you just give the scene here and it will load the scene. What about I want to load multiple scenes? Well, you can add a check. You can add a check. You can also make a class called player and check if the player completed the first scene or second scene or which scene they are in. You can also use that. Let's make it a player class. So now in the player class, I'm going to have a public string name, player name. Okay, so instead of just a name in the map, I'll give the name directly from here, player name. And then I'm also having a public int current scene. Which scene are we in now, right now? Okay, so public player, I'll say player name equal to Suman and current scene equal to, I'm saying 1. Okay, now I go to the main class. In this we are having player equal to new player, sorry, new player. Here in the scene loader I'm going to pass the player name, player dot player name. Okay, why I'm passing this the player name? Because in the scene loader class I'm going to where is this scene loader, public scene loader string player name. Okay, this dot player name equal to player name, or I can also just copy this part into the scene loader and pass the player name here. So whatever player name I give in the player class, it will now be in the MC. Done. Then we have this. Then we have this loader, scene loader enough, all that. That's it. So save. Player name is Suman. This is done. You can also give public, or instead of giving public, you can also say private and all that. It's up to you. It's completely up to you. Now here we have a player. You can also pass the player name here. Okay. Or you can also ask a scanner class or buffer reader class and take the player input, player name here. Take input here like this, and then pass the input here, str like this. Okay, so it's up to you. You can pass the player name whichever way you like. It's up to you. So once the player name is given to the scene loader, the scene will load. Scene will load, and the scene will load based on player dot current scene. Nice. So if the current scene is 2, the scene will load from 2. If the current scene is 3 or 10 or 20, the current scene is 20, for example, then the load scene will load scene 20 directly. That's what I'm saying. So depending on the player current scene, you can use that. What if I want to change this current scene, or maybe progress the player to next scene? Then what? Well, you can do that directly from the current scene from here. Let's say instead of passing string, I pass the player object itself. Okay, I pass the player object itself. Now, yeah, instead of this line, instead of that line, I will say c dot load scene. That's it. Okay, so this load scene will now automatically load the, where is this? Automatically load the scene that we are in. Not from here, but from somewhere else. Instead of this, I will use scene path. What is the scene path? Well, the scene path is a player, and here I'll say player dot player name. Okay, public string scene path is used here, P capital, right? So scene path, scene path equal to which scene are we in right now. So which scene are we in right now? Scene plus player dot current scene. Whichever scene we are in right now, that scene path will directly load. Okay, from here. And once the scene is completed, once the scene is done, we will say player dot current scene plus plus. Just move the player one step forward. So for that, I'm going to use a private player object, player equal to player, or this dot player equal to player. So player dot current scene. So once the entire file is loaded, once the entire scene is done, the current scene will automatically advance. You can also like add more things here. For example, you can also add more choices. You can also add more tags. You can do whatever you want in this, but this is a simple file loader, simple scene loader. That's it. Okay, let me show you if it loads the next scene or not. The scene is not needed anymore. You can just delete this. Okay, let's load another scene. Let me just copy the one more scene from here. Copy and paste. So let's load the next scene. If the second scene loads, that will be fine. So let's see. Okay, main selection, main class, load scene, and here it is. So the sun is rising in the valley. Everything is fine. This is done. Now next scene. How do we load the next scene? sc dot load scene. So once again, load the another scene. So the first part is this. Enter the town. He decided to enter the town, and then we are printing it again. So why are we printing it again? Why are we printing it again? Why are we printing it again? Let's see. Replace line current scene plus plus. So this should increase the current scene, isn't it? Let me see if it is actually loading or not. Scene player dot current scene plus slash n this. So this should be scene 1, and scene 2 is again loading the same thing. Why is it loading the same thing? Oh, because we didn't change the scene. Right. We didn't change this. So we should change this by adding it in a new file or new function. Private void set scene. This will be the function. Okay. Set scene will start first, and as soon as the current scene is done, we should again say set scene. So it will update the line, this line. Now let's see. Yeah, you can see scene 1 and scene 2, you are in a tavern, right? And now you can see this is not having any hash. I am using percentages. That's why it is not loading properly. So I have to also again go and change there. Understand? So let's see scene 2. Change this file. Where is that? Find and replace. Percentage MC should be replaced with hashtag MC. Replace all. Done. And percentage RWNPC1 should be replaced with RWNPC1. Hashtag RWNPC1. So now wherever you have percentages, you have now hashtags. So now if I just load this file, you will see that there is a small difference. See, in the scene 2, wherever there is hashtag MC, now you have a Suman. Since I didn't give this tag, it didn't change. Let's give this tag. Here is the tag here. So holders dot put, what is that? Hashtag RWNPC1. What is the tag name, or what is the person name? Let's give the person name as is it girl or boy? Let's see. From the adventurer, traveling list, correcting, we can convert. Oh, praise the Lord. Is okay. So this is a. You can also give a any NPC name. I'm just giving it. Let's say Ajanta. Okay. Now if I execute this, so you can see the name appearing in the scene. Scene is loading. So now this scene is actually loading. Now you can like write a dialogue scenario. For example, you can add this line here. Where is this? Yeah, instead of printing everything, you can add this line. Let's say scanner private scanner. This is not the efficient way of writing this code. I'm just showing you what is the best way, what is the system doing. That is, this is not the best way, this is just a system example, that's all. Okay, don't take it as a like gospel or anything. This is not the best way to write the code. I wrote the code here in the quest demo. I'll show it to you, but later on. But first of all, I just want to explain all the things that I wrote there. That's all. System.in. So now whenever you write one line, you should see sc dot next line. Take a next line and it will stop. Every time you load the file, it will stop like this. You can now load and read each and every line. Okay. You can also remove these spaces. These spaces are coming from the scene itself. I gave the space here with this line. If you remove the spaces, that will be fine. But I gave it just to understand the dialogues and everything. So if you don't want it, you can remove it. It's up to you. For example, here there is no space. So let me show you. What if I load directly from scene 2? Right? What if I load directly from scene 2? So let's go to this and say current scene 2. Now if I execute this, directly you are in a tavern, and this. Okay, easy. This is how you're doing it. So once the scene is done, system closes, because there is no more scene to read, so the system closes. That's all. So now you can create a code like this. Okay, this is not the best way. As I said, this is not the best way. This is just a way to explain the system. The system of this. The story is in the text files. The writers will write the story in text files in their own way. They will narrate the file, they will narrate the scenario, they will narrate the NPC interactions and quest descriptions and all that. Okay. Your job as a programmer is to read that text file and differentiate it based on the interactions and narration points, of course. If you're writing a dialog box, if you're writing a dialogue scenario or dialog boxes, you can use this concept. But as I said, this is not the perfect way. This is just a way to load file. Okay, you are just loading a file from here. Understand? You are loading a file and you are reading it to the user or player, whatever you want to say. So instead of writing everything as system.out.println, hello, system.out.println, how are you, all that nonsense dialogues, you can write everything in a single text file and load it from here. You can also write interactions like this. Later on in the next video, I'll show you a better way of doing this. Okay, this is fine. This is just to load dialogues and everything. But if I want to load choices, there will be a problem. If I want to load branchings, there will be a problem, because in this case, this is just a simple file, just a simple interaction, simple file. What if the let's say in the scene 2 here, there is an NPC who is offering you a quest. He's saying, the NPC is saying that the main character is saying that I'm a traveler, to say the least, and I do like to go around collecting treasure. So you can call call it adventuring. Right. So the person says, "Oh, praise the Lord, please help us from this banshee who has been tormenting us for decades." So this is a quest. Go and kill the banshee. This is a quest. Now, if you want to give some branching here, let's say I want to add some choices. Let's say I want to say accept or reject. If you accept it, something will happen. If you reject it, something else will happen. Should happen actually, because there is a consequence for every action. So if you want to add those kind of scenarios, then this is not useful. This system won't work in that way. Understood? So this is only for simple dialogues, like if you want to write a dialogue, if you want to just write a plot, just want to load as something simple in your game, you can do this. Understand? Now let me show you. As I said, these classes are very like individually functioning like this. So everything is loading from the scene loader. Understood? So first of all, what did we do? We go to the main class. In the main class, I'm saying load the player. So what is the player having? The player is having two things: player name and current scene. In case if you want to add inventory, spell book, magics, equip items, armor, weapons, and all that, you can also add it here. Okay, all of this will be in the player inventory, player class. Then we loaded the scene loader. So in the scene loader, what did I say is I made these tags, right? I made these tags and I said set scene. What does set scene do? It will load a scene path, a file path, okay, based on the current scene of the player. If the player is in the first scene, it will load scene 1. If in the 5th scene, it will load scene 5. If in the 10th scene, it will load scene 10. This way I am just loading a scene path based on the player current scene. Now once we set the scene, what happens next? Go to the main class and you will see load scene. So when you're loading a scene, what does it do? It will load the scene from a file. It reads the file and it loads the scene. Every line it will load the scene, and in every line there will be tags. If there is an interaction, there will be tags. If there is no interaction, no problem. It just prints the line. Nothing. Understood? So this is what I'm saying here. Replace placeholders. If there is nothing like this, if there is nothing that matches the tags, then just return the line. If there is something that matches the tags, then replace the tag with the value. Easy? Now what I did here is this. So once this file is done, it is done loading. Before closing this file, improve the current scene and set the next scene. Done. Then you say br.close. Now what if I want to load 5 scenes continuously, 1 2 3 4 5? Then what? So in that case, I should load this scene multiple times, like 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that. In that case, I will be using a loop, while loop, for loop, anything. Okay, so instead of writing load scene, I will say for some code, int I equal to 0, I less than number of scenes, I plus plus, sc.load scene. So for number of scenes, it will just keep loading. Understand? So this is how this code should work. Now let me show you the actual code that I wrote. You understood this part? If you have any confusions, please ask in the comment section. I will answer every comment. I won't censor or I won't delete any comment. Please give your feedbacks or any questions you have, you can ask in the comment section. Okay. Now let me show you the actual code that I wrote. So what if I want to like improve on this? What if I want to add more? Then in that case, you can do like this. You can have a separate class for game variables. I wrote everything in the scene loader, but you can write everything in a separate class called game variables here. And in the game variables will also load the player. So everything will load from here. every variable will load from here. You can see replace placeholders, get player, everything is from here. Understand? So all of this is from here. Then in the player section you have normally current scene and all, and additionally what I did is I changed the name little bit. So what did I do? Let me show you that. Here what did I do here is, for example, say I entered the string name equal to, I said Suman, okay, S small, but when I print the name I should see S capital. So what should I do? Instead of printing it like S small, I should see S capital. What do I do then? Well, in that case I have to do some string manipulations. So what is the string manipulation? Let me show you. First of all, name dot substring. Okay, substring is a function which will extract a string from a string. Let me show you. If I say this is a sentence, it will extract, for example, this. Okay, substring means returns a string that is a substring of this string. So string from a string. So 0 means this. Let's see. This is a sentence, and if I say 1, what happens now? T gone, his is a sin. So in this case you are seeing like this. So substring is basically string inside a string. So you are telling it, you are telling the system to start the string from here, instead of here it will start from here. Or in this case, if you want only this part, so what is the string count of this? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's add 10, and you should see sentence. Understood? So this is substring. Like that, you can also say char at. For example, in this case I said where is that part? Here, substring 0, 1, which means from 0 to 1, like that. Okay, let me show you that. Let's give, I want this is a scene, right? I want this A. How do I get A? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want 8th character. And how many characters after that? Only 1. Now I will get 9. Yeah, only after that is A, right? So if I want only 1 character after that, I'll give 9. If I want, for example, 4 characters after that, so 8 plus 4 is 12. So A space SE. If I say I want all the name from here to here, then what? Well, we have substring comma, I think end of something. No, I just give 8 and it will print everything from a sentence. Yeah, exactly. So it will print everything from that index number, right? So why I'm saying all this? Because I want to capitalize this character, first character. No matter what capital case or small case I give, it should always show capital case. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to cut that character S. here, S. Okay, first I cut the character, I make it uppercase, dot to uppercase, to uppercase, sorry, here, so S capital, and then plus I will say name dot substring 1. So from 1 print everything else. So you will see S capital and remaining all smalls. If I use, let's say, Raghu, R capital, it should be R capital, and remaining everything is small. Close all these things, yeah. Okay, so why I'm doing this? Because there is no capitalized case here. There is no capitalize. Capitalize. This function is not there in Java, so I'm using this. Name.capitalize doesn't work. There is no capitalize case here. We have uppercase, lowercase. That's all. That means we have 2 upper, 2 lower. This is 2 lower, 2 upper. That's it. And there is no capitalize. See, only escapes. So that's it. This is the reason I wrote this line. Substring 0, 1, which means the first character, 2 uppercase, plus name, substring of 1, which means the remaining characters from that first index. Okay. There are a lot of things you can do with Java and everything. This is just about programming. Okay, this is just programming part. I'm not showing you anything that that is not there in Java. It is everything in Java, but we don't know how to use that. That's all. Some people know how to use Java, like they know how to write conditions, like if cases, switch cases. They know how to write arrays, functions, and all that. But in case of applications like these, basically apps, okay, when you are making apps, you must use these functionalities in a way to present to the user in a very, like, you know, presentation concept. Like in PowerPoint, how we make presentations using the basic animations that we use every day. It feels different, but it is not. That's what it means. So it looks different, but it is not. It is just a string function. Okay. Now everything is here. So player name, current scene, and all that. Then in the game variables, I have all these tags. So whenever I want to add a new tag, I just go to the game variables class and I just add a new tag here. I don't have to go to every other class. Okay, I just go here and add a tag. For example, in the next scene, I want to add a new tag. So placeholders dot put what to add here. Let's say I want to add a new NPC or a new scene. Okay, forest banshee, and the banshee name, or I can say forest monster, mons. Okay, so in this game I'm saying banshee, so banshee will be given whenever there is a forest mons. There will be banshee, like that. I can just add a placeholder and I can write the story in that way, right? So this is how this game variables class and player class is loading the game. Now in this case, I'm not using scene loader, I'm using scene class. Same thing, but little bit different. So instead of passing player object in the scene loader, as you saw here, I passed player object here, right? So instead of passing player object, I'll pass game variables object. So as I said, the game variables has both player as well as the tags. So I will pass the game variables object and use that game variables object here. So whenever there is a buffer reader, load this. Okay, and what I'm doing here is I'm adding each and every dialog to an array list. Why? Because in the next concept, whenever I want to use JSON or any other format like XML or YAML format, there will be choices. So in that case, I can give a way to go back and choose another choice. Understand? It's kind of a history kind of thing. So in the case of quests, you can also go back and choose another choice. So to go back, you should record those dialogues somewhere. You should record the interaction somewhere. So I'm using a array list to record that. So this way I can go back and choose another choice if I am not satisfied with the result, right? So once we do that, I am adding everything into dialog boxes. All dialogues are not directly printed onto the screen. All dialogues are not directly going onto the screen. It goes to the list first. And once the reader is closed, then I'm loading each and every line from the list. Okay. So if there is a need, I can also go back. I can add a scenario here where I can go back and I can reselect the choice. Understood? So once this scene is done, clean the list, dialogues.clear, clean the list, then set the screen, set screen gets current scene plus 1, plus, increment. So increment the player current scene and go to the next scene. So how does the next scene load? In the main class, I gave a total number of scenes, total scenes 3. So here, whenever I say start game, it will load a variable like this. Whenever I say start game, it will load a for loop. In the for loop, I said player get scene, current scene, 1, 2, 3, whatever your scene are, total number of scenes. If it is equal or less than equal, then load the scene. If it is almost greater than, then don't load the scene. Simple. Okay. So just load scene player dot get current scene. That's it. Easy. As you can see, what I did, how I wrote this entire program, the glimpses of the codes that I wrote here, right? So this is our scene loader. The scene loader is like this. The scene loader is basically a way to load scenes into your game. Okay, so you can ask the writer to write the scene and they will write the scene, the interactions, narrations, everything in their own way, and then you can use this system to load that file directly into your system. And the advantage of using this is you don't need to use Java. The writer doesn't need to know Java, C++, C# or anything. They just need to know how to write in how to use Word, MS Word or anything. They just need to know how to type. Once they know how to type, you can use that typing format and you can use that scene. Easy. If you don't want to use Java, you can use the same thing. You can do the same thing in C# or Python. Just use this written file and read it in Python. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Programming should make your work easier. It shouldn't make your work complex. You shouldn't write everything in system.out.println or printfs or anything like that. You should write everything in a separate file or by a separate file, by a separate person, another person who is good at writing programs or good at writing these stories. Understood? That means what I want to say is basically you just have to segregate the work. You don't you don't need to do everything on your own. That's what I'm trying to say. And in this case, if you don't want to do that, if you want to segregate everything completely, then you should write systems that can accommodate to that process. Okay, so this is process 1. This is the stage 1. This is step 1. The next step I'm going to show is using JSON, where I will load choices as well. I will show you how to load the JSON file from choices, multiple branching choices as well. If you accept a quest, if you reject a quest, what happens in that case? I'll show all of this. Okay, so see you next video. I hope you learned something new. Thank you.